Jesus girl. Jesus girl. Hey, it's the diary of a Jesus girl. Let the wings of the Spirit of the Lord just swirl. You are in it, but you know you're not a part of this world. And for the swine, you should never cast your pearl. Yes, it's just the diary of a Jesus girl. The diary of a Jesus girl. Welcome to the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast, where we discuss real-life issues of the committed Christian woman. This podcast will inspire you to love Jesus and impact lives like Jesus. And now it's time for your host, Crystal Day, award-winning author, speaker, and Christian coach.
Welcome to another episode of the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast. Actually, this is the final episode for 2022. Yes, it is the final episode, and we are basically Christmas. It's almost Christmas, and in a few days we're celebrating Christmas, and in a week or so it will be 2023. Can you believe it? And this will be the final episode for this year. Last week we just decided that, hey, we're gonna end the podcast a little bit earlier this year. Normally we'd have a final episode nearer to the end of the year, but your girl is tired. Your girl needs to spend some time with Jesus and her family. So I am actually recording this final episode, and it will be my 2022 year in review. And normally when I started this podcast, to be honest, it really wasn't about me and for me, even though it was called the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast, it really wasn't about my diary per se. So you guys know that I've not always done a lot of solo episodes unless I really, really feel led to. This year, I think I did more solo episode more than the previous year. And actually had some interviews lined up, but they kind of just fell through. And I'm like, you know what? I've sensed that the Lord is just saying that, just kind of end the year. A part of ending the year strong is to be honest with yourself, and ending the year just spending at least a week just chilling. And that's what I want to do, after the Christmas holiday, and just to spend time with my family, just to chill, just to do a self-care day, etc. So that's really what's up with me. So I want to do a 2022 review. I was actually listening to my 2021 reviews. I listened to my 2021 review earlier this week, just to kind of hear some of the goals that I had shared and how that I wanted to do and how those went, and also just kind of just looking through. I spent some time just really reflecting on this year so that I can actually read from my diary. So normally when I do the review, I read from my personal diary, just being honest, being authentic, being transparent, about where I am in my journey. So I'll try not to let this episode be too long since it's a final episode. But first I want to say thank you to our faithful listeners. We actually doubled our listenership based on, last year where we ended. The goal was actually to triple, but we didn't triple, we doubled. Maybe it's my effort. Maybe I didn't promote it as much. I don't know. But, let's look to see how the upcoming year in 2023 will go for the podcast. I have not felt led to release a podcast. I really feel like the podcast is still, blessing many persons. I'm still getting a lot of reviews that persons are looking forward to it, and I do have some great interviews lined up for next year. So definitely looking forward to that for the upcoming year. Also, so I want to say thank you for all our faithful OG listeners. Thank you. Also, again, if you have not left a review, please go leave a review on our YouTube page or our Apple podcast page, right? So when you share reviews, more persons are able to get exposed to the podcast, and more persons will be able to blessed by it. Also, again, if you have not gotten a chance to get the 2023 Purpose Planner lesson, it is epic. So I want you to go to Bentley, bit.ly /2023 Purpose Planner. It's also available from my website, so you can go start working on your Purpose Planner. The theme is unmovable faith. I did two episodes ago, I actually did a podcast called Unmovable Faith, just kind of sharing what the Lord was sharing on my heart regarding having unmovable faith in the upcoming year. So please go and check that out. Also, if you have been just like desiring to grow personally, professionally, spiritually, please also go and check out my YouTube channel. I'm always just sharing personal development tips, spiritual tips, etc. So I'm looking forward to growing my YouTube channel a little bit more next year. I'm at 500 subscribers, so I feel like some of you that are listening, you have not gone over to my YouTube yet, so please go and do that. Check out my YouTube channel. I have some great episodes are also available. And finally, my new journal. Yes, it's called my personal empowerment journal, a 52-week guided journal for personal and professional success. So please go and get that. It's available in paperback and hardcover. I personally love the hardcover, and so I'm excited to just each week you will get a prompt to just kind of process your thoughts and to journal, etc. And it has a lot of coaching tools in there to help you to grow in the upcoming year. So that's all the church announcement for this week. I probably repeat it at the end just in case, but yes. So let's jump into my 2022 review. So 2022, as I mentioned many times, my word for the year was becoming. So that was the word for 2022, becoming. And I was just going through my purpose planner for 2022 and just writing down some of the things that, just kind of reading back some of the things I wrote. And for me, becoming was more looking at how can I embody, how can I walk into the identity of who God has called me to be as a woman of God, and not just focus on doing things. So I am naturally a doer, I'm an executor, I'm very driven to take actions, but for 2022 I wanted to not just do things, I wanted to become more. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but I just wanted to just embody more and just live in the moment and show up in the moment, show up for my family, show up for my friends, show up for my clients, show up for myself too, and just owning the character of Christ more in me. So I was actually looking forward to that. It was initially a bit scary coming into the new year, wondering what becoming could look like, but I can definitely say that I've seen how I've not been so driven just by goals and to do, but just living in the moment and becoming that woman, right? So for me, I did see how that word came to pass in 2022. Now, what I'm gonna just share, of course, I have my planner here. There's not I can't go through everything, so I'm just gonna pick out some just core topics, some core takeaways. So I'm gonna share just a few accomplishments, etc. And then I'll share a few reflections. I will also share my upcoming word of the year and just some goals, right? So I'll try not to make this too long. So let's start with just kind of celebrating my success. So what are some of my biggest accomplishments in 2022? One, I'm gonna say one of the biggest accomplishments is that I didn't give up. I didn't give up when things get hard. I didn't give up when things didn't go my way. And I know for some persons they're like, oh, that's an accomplishment. Yes, it is, because again, remember the word for me but the word for the year was becoming. So I've always been very resilient. I've always been very determined, but I realized that it wasn't just about being resilient, but what was my attitude while I'm going through hardships. So I did have some really, I remember, for example, when I was preparing for the conference, I had car issues for a few weeks, and that was really really uncomfortable because we had to take the bus, and it was just very uncomfortable. But I while I was kind of disappointed about that, like I didn't just live in the disappointment, so my attitude changed even when things didn't go my way. Even when I saw disappointing stuff happening, I tried to stay in gratitude, and that came from me embodying and becoming, and not just I'm resilient, but really just staying faithful and hopeful and grateful for who God is and what He's doing in me. So for me, that was a big accomplishment, that I did see how my character grew in 2022. Next one, I published 42 books. So my goal is to publish 100 authors per year. We did 42, so we are grateful for that. Also, the another accomplishment was hosting the author conference and award, and I did host two writing workshops, and that those I realized that I love face-to-face events. I come alive when I'm hosting events. That's why I used to just enjoy doing like the Christian life coaching training. I do it online now, but I come alive when I'm in a room, when I'm on a stage. I'm an influencer. I have an influencing strength. So that's when I come alive, and I was happy to host that. So those are some of my major accomplishments. What did I learn about myself? And some of these questions, all of these questions you'll find in your purpose planner. So I'm not going through all of them. I just touching about 3. So what did I learn about myself? Again, I realized that I like to stay in my comfort zone for the most part. So in 2022, I tried to push myself more out of my comfort zone and did things that weren't always comfortable for me. I tried more things. So, for example, so I'm not really into animals and stuff, but this is probably not a good example. But going to the zoo with my family was very very fun. I actually did enjoy that more than I expected to, right? But outside of that, I spoke up more. Even when it comes on to, I did 2 book signing overseas, and normally I'm very reserved. Like if I go into a space, people will not necessarily always know that I'm there. They don't know what I do because I'm pretty reserved. But I try to talk to more people and just kind of step out of my comfort zone and introduce myself to others and show it for others. So I think that's. And I realized that I actually like my comfort zone. I like to stay in the back end. I don't like to I'm not very outspoken in a room like that. But if I do open my mouth, then I know that I speak in a way that influences and impact others. But I'm not very, very. And I don't think it's lack of confidence. I don't think it's lack of it's insecurity. I just think it's part of. I'm introverted, extroverted. Like I'm extroverted if I have to, but then I'm also pretty reserved. So I had to force myself to come out of my comfort zone a lot. The final question I'll answer for this one is what experiences stand out in my mind as the best and the worst. And the best would definitely be the author conference, specifically the Reach Millions author live conference, that the one that I was able to teach authors, etc. And then the worst was, one of my sisters, I call it my cousin, very good friend, a client, Roseanne. She was diagnosed with cancer in March, I believe, and she died in June, I believe. Yeah. So that was, may her soul rest in peace. That was a little bit hard. Yeah, that was definitely the worst aspect of 2022 for me. All right. So continuing, in terms of reflection, right? In terms of reflection, what were some of my biggest lesson? I think 2 major lessons. One is that I am not as strong as in administrative task as I used to be. I remember years ago I was very great at administration things. No, I'm not. So for example, in my business, bookkeeping was not my strongest suit, which if you know if you're a solopreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, bookkeeping is very, very important. And I really, really failed at that this year in my business. So that's a lesson, but that's also where I would say my biggest failure. Also, lesson is just how important money mindset is when it comes on to having a business. And this is something I hear all the time, and I know, but I didn't realize how the layers of our money mindset is so like entrenched in us, that from a religious perspective, from a cultural perspective, from just based on generational perspective. And you just have to be peeling away the layers of your money mindset. So one, as a believer, you're not chasing money, because we shouldn't chase money, we should chase God. And believing that all things shall be added, but also understanding that as a believer you have to charge properly, you have to charge. And one of the things I recognized last year was that, based on when I really sat down and did my numbers, there's no way, well, not say there's no way, but the volume of people I would have to work with to have a profitable business, I didn't have that volume. So I had to be more intentional about raising my rates if I was going to be building a profitable business. So, it felt very uncomfortable to increase my rates, but that's something that I really had to do, because this is a business that I'm running and not a non-profit, And while we are trusting God as the main provider, He has made it very clear that my business is the resource that He has given me to take care of me and my child. So, I had to be very intentional about that money mindset. So those are some of the things for me I have been, just processing and reflecting. Now, some things that I'm grateful for, because we're looking at gratitude also, is that, of course, I'm grateful for the business, like, just all the persons that I would have served at my events, at, my email subscribers, my podcast listeners, my Instagram followers, like everybody. I'm so grateful for all the persons that I've been able to impact. I'm so grateful for my family. Oh my God, I have the best siblings in the world. Shout out to Daniela, Kimon, Dads, and Davian, and of course my other siblings, Tracy and Tevin and Dario and Robert. But just especially closer, the day brown dynamics there. And I'm so grateful for my siblings. We really had an amazing time. I had an amazing birthday. When I said I had a great summer, a really, really, really awesome summer, and my birthday was epic. Yes, my birthday was epic. Like all the things that I wanted, from my Apple laptop to my Michael Kors bag. I got a spa. I got 2 spa treatments actually. I got the books that I wanted. I just had plus I had a dinner. So I went to dinner alone because I wanted to go to dinner alone, and I looked really cute. And I went on prayer with my friends that night, and they prayed with me and prayed for me. And then I had a party the weekend. Well, my mommy hosted a party for me that weekend, and that was really, really good. And seeing a lot of persons that I've not seen in years, we linked up in Florida, and that was really good. So and I had an amazing 35th birthday. So shout out, gratitude to my family. Of course, I'm so grateful for Christelle, my daughter. Continue to just be an amazing child, and just as she gets taller and more mature and get more talkative and the pre-teen years, but so grateful, and just grateful for friendships. I've definitely seen this year how I'm grateful for the friends that I have, the intentional friends that pray with me, that correct me, that that shows up for me even when I don't ask for their help. They are so faithful to show up. So very, very grateful for that. I'm grateful for the home. I love my home, the home that I'm created. Not just the house that I live in, but the home. The space is clean. And one of the things I did this year, I think I shared. Well, I don't remember if I did, but coming to the end of last year in the Christmas, I decided that I was not going to do any Christmas cleaning because I'm not very good at cleaning. I'm not a cleaning person, full stop. So I decided that I'm going to hire somebody to clean last year, and it was the best $50 investment that I made. Right? Somebody spent 12, 14 hours cleaning my house. Listen. So since that, I realized how having my house clean bring me so much joy. It makes me more productive, all of these things. So I committed that at least once per month I would let somebody to come clean the house. Oh my God, that was one of the best decisions I've made in 2022. So every month somebody come and clean, and the house feel fresh and nice, and I just love it because I don't like cleaning and I don't like doing household work, and she wash and she clean and she all of that. So definitely left happy for that. So is there anything else that I don't want to share as I just go into my things that I plan for the upcoming year? I think so. I know persons like to hear about spiritual growth. So spiritually, I think that spiritually I'm at a good place. I did start a new church. Well, I don't think it's not a new church. I've been going to this church all the time because I'm always going to 4 or 5 churches at a time. So I just don't have loyalty to one church. I always feel like I'm a part of the kingdom, and if I feel to go to this church is one body. But I've been going to a specific church a little bit more often, and I'm loving the family of that church. But of course I still visit my other churches, but I'm loving the new family that I'm finding at this church home. Also, I have been intentional about just trying to pray more. I definitely have seen how I'm praying more, and also praying with my prayer group and my prayer tribe and my prayer sisters have been really, really good. Also, I don't think, to be honest, that I spent enough time in the Word. I didn't. So I did read the Bible, I did read the Word, but I didn't spend enough time that I should. But I also did a few Bible studies with John Bevere, the Messenger app. So that was okay, but I need to spend more time studying the Word. So that's one of the goals for 2023. Personally, I didn't read as much books as I normally do. I think I probably read about 6 or 7 books, which is definitely less than I'm used to. Not quite sure why. I think because I have so many books, I just don't know which one to choose to read. Like, I feel like I want to read all of them, so you find that I'm reading more than one books at a time, which is not good. So I've committed to reading 2 books per year next year. Two books per month. Sorry. So I'm aiming for 24 books for the upcoming year, 2 books per month. So that's where I am personally. Again, business wise, I shared that I did a video on YouTube where I shared that I didn't hit my income goal, but it's okay because I know I didn't go very hard in my business, especially for a few months. So after the April event, so between May to basically September, I really didn't do much like outside of the clients that we had to serve, like the publishing clients that we specifically had. I didn't put out a lot of content or trying to push, because I spent that time kind of seeking a lot of where do I want to go in business. I know that I want to focus on authors, but I really wanted to know, okay, how do I want to serve them, creating a framework around that. And I finally launched my Reach Millions Author Accelerator, which is a 4-month coaching program, and I feel like this is my main signature program, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the content. I'm happy. So far we have served 22 persons. We've done 2 cohorts, 22 persons or 24, I don't remember. And I'm happy with the content. I'm happy with the persons that I'm helping to birth their books, and this program is like a 2.0 of all the things that I've learned, and I love it. I'm so glad that I stepped back. So even though it took a hit in my income for me to not hit my income goal, I'm good because I'm at peace with where I want to go, and I finally have clarity on how I want to go with my business. So I'm very, very proud of that. regarding relationship wise, I am not dating anyone. I'm still not dating anyone. There's no perspective in the views either. I am praying about it, maybe not very as often as probably I could or should, but I do believe that, the Lord is going to well, either send the person to me or send me to the person, I don't know. But I do believe that in due time I will get married, and I will give you guys the update once I start to date somebody. Relationship rise, right? Outside of that, again, I did not. So, regarding impact, normally I do the Empowering Girls Club. I didn't do much with the Empowering Girls Club again because I didn't want to be caught up in just doing. I really wanted to do a little ease and flow. That was kind of where I was going. I just did not want to do 20 million things. But when I did go through my achievements, I actually did achieve a lot of things, right? There's a coach that I've been wanting to coach with, and I was able to invest in that. I was able to one of my goals was to ensure that all my siblings and my family had a great birthday. So we surprised our mom in January for her birthday. I took my father out for dinner. That was his birthday in February. My sisters, both of them are born March. They had a really nice birthday dinner party. So that was Wells. My brother, he is born in August. I mean, boys are, men, they're not very fussy about their birthday. So I did get them gift, so that was cool. We did have our family pixie last year, and we're having our family pixie this year again, so that keeps our family tight knitted, and we have a WhatsApp group, and we just keep each other updated, so we've been loving that. One of the goals also was to take Crystal to an all-inclusive this year, so we did go to Kala Dunbar retreat, a family retreat. So Christy and I did get a time to spend at an all-inclusive hotel, and I did get a lot of features actually, because I was on, I think I had 8 television feature between CVM TV, TVJ, and MTM TV. I did become a trained book publicist. I was I was awarded top Christian speaker, one of the top 10 Christian speakers in the world, one of the top 10 authors to watch. And then also the Berean Church of God did give me a Kingdom Influencer Award also. That was a great surprise. So it was a pretty good year, to be honest. It was a pretty good year. Honestly, only thing is I wanted to make more money. It would have been a perfect year. No, 2 things would have happened if it was no. All right. It would have been a perfect year, 1, if I'd hit more in my income goal. But again, I understand why I didn't, so it's okay. If I was dating, it probably would have been a nicer year. And also, I do have some friends that I've been praying for, and I would have really wanted to see how God would have come through for them, and also praying for my family's salvation. My brothers, my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my sister, my best friend, one of my best friends. I really wanted them to, just come into a saving relationship with Jesus Christ. That hasn't happened yet, but outside of that, it was a pretty good year. So what does 2023 holds for Crystal Day? So on the podcast, I'll just continue to interview persons to talk about topics, to just talk about topics that I believe will be able to help them to grow spiritually, to build their faith, and to just have authentic raw stories, as we are used to here on the podcast. Also trying to build my YouTube channel to talk more about personal development God's way, and to, how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually. So I'll be continuing that on my YouTube channel. In terms of next year, some goals that I know, the word that I got for 2023 is luxury. No, it took a while for me because in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to continue the word becoming. But I kept hearing luxury. And And when I look up what luxury meant, it was having more than necessary, continuous abundance, riches. So when I wrote down rich, like what I wrote down, I'm a rich woman, and rich means righteous, impactful, confident, healthy. So I am a rich woman in 2023. So that's my goal. Continue to walk on the righteous path, continue to be impactful, continue to grow in my confidence, and continue to try to ensure that I stay healthy, right? That's what for me wealth would look like. And the scripture I'm standing on is Proverbs 21:20, where it says, the wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend whatever they have. So that's the word that I'm walking in for 2023. So some things that some goals, I think the top 3 goals that I'm working on for the upcoming year is to still publish 100 authors. So we know we did 42 this year. We need to double that. So we're still pushing for publishing 100 authors. Number 2 is to get more international speaking engagements. So my goal is at least 6 international speaking engagement paid ones. So that's one of my goals. And then 3 is to host a successful Kingdom Author Success Conference, and that will be June 29th to July 1st. So we're doing the Reach Millions, which is a whole day author conference for new and aspiring authors, and we'll do a workshop, intensive workshop all day. We'll also be doing a VIP session with that, and then also the book fair and the award on July the 1st. So those are my top 3 goals. Of course, in that, you're still working on publishing clients, working on coaching clients, working on helping persons with the accelerator. So just doing that. I'm praying about finishing my MBA. I'm still praying about that. So, if you're listening and you want to pray with that about me, I've just not been in the mood for school. And especially Crystal is preparing for PEP. Honestly, I've just not been in the mood to sit and study and all of these things. But I really want to get my MBA because I want to get into lecturing. Within the next 5 years, I would want to be not even 5 years. I'm going to say give myself 3 years. Within 3 years, I want to be a lecturer. I want that's one of my dreams, to lecture at a school, like a college, at a university. So I know I need my master's to do that, even if it's not a full-time lecturer, a adjunct lecturer, but I really want to. So that's the main reason why I want to do my MBA. But as it is, your girl has no motivation for that. So please pray for me in that area, right? So outside of that, as I mentioned, there are other, if you go through the planner, there are other, spiritual goals, and personal goals. I want to read more books, spiritual goals, financial goals that I still have, business, health goals. Boy, the health goals thing I be my bad, like me, and the exercise thing have been struggling, but I've been consistent with my walk. I've been consistent with my walk. So, I try to walk at least 3 times per week. And while it's not walk for exercise, it's normally walk for my prayer walk, but it's still walking nevertheless, right? So that's it. Now, normally, and this is me being very, very transparent again. So normally, there's what we consider a unicorn goal. So a unicorn goal is that goal that you kind of desire it, but not sure it will actually happen. So I remember one of the years, one of my unicorn goal was to actually have an office space. And, in 2019, the Lord just miraculous worked through that. I didn't even expect. And I was able to rent a really nice office space. And then, God was so faithful in 2020. I gave up the office space because I felt like that was what the Lord was doing. So you guys probably would have heard me say that I've always wanted to open a bookstore. But I know bookstores are not profitable. They're not. It is what it is. They're not really profitable, unless, especially in Jamaica, unless you are doing like educational books. You don't find a lot of bookstores that are not selling educational books very profitable, unless again they have like a cafe or somewhere something else that is making them profitable. But since 2020, I've had this dream for, it's not just a bookstore, it's called Books and Chill. So when I travel in the US, I always find a Barnes and Noble to spend the whole day. I love books. I like to be in around books. I like to sit down and plan. I just love books. That's the best way to put it. So the Books and Chill idea that I've had in 2020, I've been praying about it. 2020, 2019, I'm praying about it. 2020, 2021, I actually did go and look at a space in Kingston, and I just never felt like it was the time. 2022, I'm like, nope, not interested, because yeah, I'm focusing on Crystal and exams right now. But for 2023, I kind of feel in my spirit that I'm putting it as a unicorn goal. I don't know if it will come to pass. So I don't even know if I'm calling it a goal yet, but it is a unicorn goal, right? So that's something that is very scary for me to put out there, because again, I don't know if it's going to come to pass. I'm praying about it. I sense that it could be. It's funny. Let me give you a story. So the other day I was at an event. I spoke at an event down the conference center in Jamaica, right? Major event with entrepreneurs, and there was a bookstore that was there. And the purchasing officer of the bookstore, a young man, and he came over. They were the minister of industry, I believe, or commerce. He was so impressed by all the work that we are doing in Daylight, publishing so many books, etc. And two things, yeah. So the guy said to me, "Why don't you have your own bookstore?" So I'm looking at him like, he works in our bookstores, right? And actually the owner of the bookstore was also there, and they're like, you should consider opening a bookstore, because you already have like a lot of resources, like you could really do this. And I just found it as a major confirmation, because it's been something that's on my heart. Now, for me, my bookstore is not just again about a bookstore, because I've been wanting to do a book club, but I don't want to just do an online book club. Like I want to be able to have a space where persons can pay and join the club, and they'll get the books, and every month we meet. I also like to drink wine and read books, so we'll have like a wine night, something like that. I don't know. So it's not so much just about buying books, but it's about an experience with books, So I don't even know. Again, I'm just putting this out there. I don't even know why I'm sharing this on the podcast, but hey, and then another friend of mine, she's in the Bahamas, and I interviewed her on the podcast, Dr. Felicia Archer too, and she actually opened a bookstore there in Bahamas, and she does the same thing like me, publishing. So we were talking about it, and she's like, sis, go ahead and do it, man, do it. So we were talking about it. So she's like, you should do one in Jamaica too. And I'm like, oh my God, like I probably should. But when you think about having a space and overhead expenses and running the store, you wonder if you can. But I guess this is why it's a unicorn goal, or this is why it's a unmovable fate goal. I don't know, that it's not something that I can do in my strength, but it's something that I believe that if partnering with God will be able to help me to do. So I'm looking. I don't even know if I'm looking forward to that. I'm just saying, hey, if you feel like you're led to to pray with me about that, please go ahead and do, and let's see what next year holds. So as I close, that's my year in review. I know it's not exciting. I know that probably we don't want to hear say I'm a fine man, I'm married, and all of these things, because that's what people want to celebrate. But I hope that whatever I share with you guys will bless you, will really, really bless you. And, I want you to just grab your purpose planner too and just reflect. Because as I said, it's so easy for us to forget all the times that God has come through for us. It's so easy for us to forget how, just what you consider as a small thing. Like, there's no small blessing, right? There's this song, the song for my song of the year. My song of the year is Million Little Miracles. Listen, that's the song of the year for me, Million Little Miracles, because I keep hearing, like, every single day, every breath that you take, it's a million little miracles. So I'm blessed to be able to just share this with you and just ask you to pray with me and just have a great holiday. My encouragement to you as we close off this year, one, celebrate the million little miracles. Life is not promised to us. I was saying to the Lord, boy God, imagine, I'm here planning my purpose plan. And how do I know that I live to see next year, And you just never know. And I'm like, I just pray that you will spare my life, Lord, so that I'll be able to grow up and see my daughter, finish primary school, go to college, and even get married. If Jesus don't come from world by then. But you just can't take life for granted, and that's one of the things that I always try to do. You always hear, like, my family know I'm not very good at gifts. Like, I am not very good at gifts, but I'm about experiences. How can I provide better experiences for my family? Whether we're going out, whether we're playing games, whether we're watching TV together, whatever we're doing. So just count your million little miracles, go and download your planner, spend some time. It took me about 6 hours to read. No, yeah, about 6 hours to really go through it. But I was praying and worshiping and giving thanks and, just find the blessing in all of it and just prepare for the upcoming year, prepare to show up big. If you haven't gotten a chance, also go on my YouTube channel. I did share how to show up big webinar. It's really, really good. So you can go and check that out. And I want to just wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a happy and safe holiday. Please stay safe on the roads. Please stay safe. Please, don't wallow in self-pity. Don't worry about all the things that didn't come through for 2022. Know that He's the same God yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And, His timing is perfect. And yes, there are things that I wish that happened in 2022, but I am just trusting God. When you're in maths and you carry over, I'm just believing that there are some carryover blessings that the Lord will bring to pass in 2023, and I'm looking forward for it to be the best year yet, because each year for me has been the best year yet, even the hard years. Even if I don't get all the things that I desire, I know that as a woman of God, I'm always growing and glowing in God. And I'm grateful for that. So I wish you a happy 2023 when it comes. I'll see you in the next year on the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast. Please, if next week you want to listen, go and find one of. We have 150 episodes, right, recorded so far. So I'm sure you can go back and listen a few of the episodes to inspire you until I return in 2023 bigger and better to serve you. So have a great one. Remember, church announcement, get the planner, get my personal development journal, go and listen. Go check out my YouTube videos, right? Go and listen to How to Show Up Big webinar, and of course, continue to love God, look good, and impact lives for His glory. Love you all. God bless you.
Diary of a Jesus girl. Jesus girl. Hey, it's the Diary of a Jesus girl.